Hey everyone, Brickhouse here with another video. I gotta say, there's crazy, and there's effing crazy. There's stupid, and there's effing stupid. And right at the top of the list, the very top, belongs one Jane Fonda, Hanoi Jane. I came across this article and I just had to put this one out there to make everybody aware. So, from bounding into comics, Jane Fonda blames white men and racism for climate change. Says we have to arrest and jail those men. Are you kidding me? And the scary thing is, she's serious. Not only is she nuts, she's serious. Amongst the glamorous festivities held at the 76 Cannes Film Festival, actress and radical activist Jane Fonda proclaimed that white men are responsible for racism and climate change. Now, before I get too deep into this, okay? If you're logical and rational and have a brain, you would say, yeah, the climate change is real. The climate is always changing. It's changed for thousands of years. In fact, the climate changed from yesterday to today. That's rational thought. That's using your brain. That's logical. What she's saying is, which those that worship at the altar of the climate change gods, is that climate change is due to man. It's due to the use of fossil fuels. Now, keep in mind, we had acid rain in the late 60s, early 70s. Then we had global cooling in the 70s. Then in the 80s started global warming. And then we had Al Gore's infamous movie that, in proclamation that, I think it was about the late 90s, early 2000s, that we're only going to survive 10 more years. Man's destroying the earth. We're not going to exist in 10 more years. Well, that came and went. So this is the type of cuckoo that gets pressed, like Greta Thunberg. We have to do something now. We're not going to survive another 7 or 8 years unless we do something now. So let's just jump into this, shall we? During her rendezvous with Jane Fonda event, Deadline reported the two-time Oscar-winning actress announced she would be shifting most of her attention to her political activism surrounding climate change, given she does not have any acting roles lined up. Answering an audience question, the 80 for Brady actress revealed what her activism would look like, specifically jailing people she thinks are responsible for climate change. We still have reason to be hopeful if we do everything right, she proclaimed. But I'm saying this is serious. We've got about 7-8 years to cut ourselves in half of what we use for fossil fuels. Fossil fuels aren't the problem. Driving a car that uses gas and oil is not a problem. But to those like Jane Fonda, oh no, we can't have that anymore. Now, the ultimate hypocritical thing to do is fly on your private jet to Cannes Film Festival in France, and then turn around and say we have to cut our fossil fuel use in half. I guess you won't be flying to Cannes anymore then, huh, Jane? And unfortunately, the people that have the least responsibility for it are hit the hardest. Global South, people on islands, poor people of color, Fonda declared, It is a tragedy that we have to absolutely stop. We have to arrest and jail those men. They're all men responsible for this crisis. Last time I checked, women drove cars too. Women fly planes. Just saying. Responding to a different audience question, the Barbarella actress clarified climate change would not exist without racism or the patriarchal mindset in which white men are at the top and everything else is at the bottom. It's good for us to realize, for all to realize, there would be no climate crisis if there was no racism. There would be no climate crisis if there was no patriarchy. Fonda claimed, a mindset that sees things in a hierarchical way. White men are the things that matter, and then everything else is at the bottom. In an attempt to enlist members of her audience to join her environmental cause, Fonda continued to connect feminist environmental causes the actress admitted we're in trouble, even if the climate crisis was solved, and we haven't solved those other things. She said, so when I say that I'm fighting the climate crisis, I also feel that I'm fighting the patriarchy and racism. It's important because we have to get out of the silos. Feminists over here, environmentalists over here. That's what I learned when I started being an activist around the Vietnam War. The more you go down any issue, whatever it is, you realize that it's all connected, she asserted. And if we solve the climate crisis and we haven't solved those other things, we're going to be in trouble. There's a reason why Jane Fonda is called Hanoi Jane. Fonda's activism during the Vietnam War was heavily criticized, with many critics describing her as Hanoi Jane when she was photographed cozying up to the North Vietnamese during the Vietnam War. Critics accused her of encouraging Viet Cong soldiers to fight against American imperialist soldiers and sang anti-war songs behind enemy lines. She was also arrested for her 5th time back in 2019, according to The Hollywood Reporter, for protesting against fossil fuels. So, guys, ladies, gentlemen, everyone, tell me what you think. Please comment down below, share your opinion. Do you agree with me? Is Jane Fonda nuts? Even if you don't agree with me that Jane Fonda is nuts, what do you think of her comments about climate change being tied to racism? So if you would, take the time, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you like the content that I'm putting out here on YouTube and Rumble and Odyssey, please take the time to hit that subscribe button and also hit the notification bell to get notified when my content is uploaded here on a daily basis. And just like I said, you can also find me on Rumble and Odyssey too. So with that, I thank you for watching. I thank you for tuning in, and I will see you later.